Well, the curtain's about to rise, and you don't want to miss opening night because we're talking movies. We're talking Asteroid City, starring Jason Schwartzman, Scarlett Johansson, and Tom Hanks. Written by Roman Coppola and Wes Anderson, who also directed. Kris, I still don't understand the play.
Listen, I love her, but I hate her face. She should do more radio. Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of How'd You Like That Movie? As Scott said, we are going to be talking about Asteroid City, the 2023 release from Mr. Wes Anderson. And Scott, before I send it over to you, I mean, that quote really works because, I mean, I've kind of got a face for radio. Over to you.
Oh, I just love the self-deprecating that you do to you.
Don't you normally call it self-defecating? That's
Yes.
your favorite kind of self-defecating humor?
That is that is the best kind.
But we normally do that on the Poop Pod, available on Wednesdays. So
that's only on our OnlyFans.
That's right.
Okay, so here's
it's
the
our
thing.
number 2. Hold on one more. It's our number 2.
Oh, fuck.
It's our number 2 show.
Oh, fucking beat a dead horse here. All right, so here's the thing. Wes Anderson, he's a hit or a really big miss for me. And to be fair, there's a lot more misses than hits. I'm gonna say this one's an in-betweener, because there was more that I enjoyed from this film than I didn't enjoy. And since art is subjective, I'm going to give you what my impression of this film is, and let me know.
You're kind of on the show. That's I think why you're supposed to be here. So
yeah, but let me see if this is what you got out of it. This film is exactly what it tells you it is at the beginning. This movie is an opening night of an off-Broadway play. So that's why the actors have the opening night jitters. You know, they're delivering their lines a little too fast. People are missing their cues. You know, the set direction is getting moved very quickly because, you know, they haven't gotten into the flow of what the play is, which usually happens later on. And that's what I got out of this movie.
Man, that's more than I got. I basically was like, this is yet another self-indulgent film at the end of a list of kind of self-indulgent films. I mean, I used to be a big fan of Wes Anderson's earlier work because he has this very kooky way of telling stories, but he was still telling like kind of narrative stories, right? Whether it's like The Life Aquatic or Royal Tenenbaums, which I mean are both, you know, films I very much enjoy, Rushmore, and Moonrise Kingdom. Moonrise Kingdom to me is actually probably the last time he was really doing a good job of balancing his kookiness and his storytelling, and it's kind of gone downhill from there. I mean, The French Dispatch to me was almost like unwatchable as a whole film. Again, like I can appreciate the work Mr. Anderson does. I think he's very clever and interesting. But he's now fallen into the realm of like David Lynch, where he's like, I can do shit because I'm Wes Anderson, so I'm just going to do that shit. Which great, you know. I mean, he's making himself happy. You know, he's making his diehard fans happy. Like I said, it's a fun piece of cinema. It's not even that. It's a fun palette to look at. But as a, what's this thing, like 103 minutes or whatever?
145.
It's
45.
too long. It was not interesting enough to keep me engaged. It would be like every once in a while I'll be like, that's clever. Also dolly shots, like fucking dolly shots everywhere. So I don't know. I don't even know if I answered your fucking question at this point.
Well, yeah, but with the dolly shots, that's why I got into the whole, like, you know, this is just the kind of play, right? Because it, like, the dolly shots kind of like the curtain closing and then coming back out because now you have your new scene kind of thing. But yeah, like, I agree. Like, well, like I said, he has way more misses for me than hits.
What's your favorite? What is your favorite Wes Anderson film?
I like Life Aquatic.
Yeah, that's fun, right?
we went through this already. I remember
Yeah, but
answering
not
this
sometimes
question on.
people tune this is their first show and they want the backstory, the Scott backstory, the Scott
Yeah,
biopic, right? So
yeah. No, I like Life Aquatic. Um, but yeah, like to me, I'm more like, what was I'm sure you have the numbers. What was the budget for this movie?
25 million.
Because yeah, man, how much did Jeff Goldblum get paid to just like sit in the background chair and then just like sneeze?
Oh, I mean, like you listed kind of like the main people, but you've got Jason Schwartzman, Scarlett Johansson, Tom Hanks, Jeffrey Wright, Tilda Swinton, Bryan Cranston, Edward Norton, Adrian Brody, Liv Schreiber, Hope Davis, Stephanie Park, Rupert Friend,
3 hours later.
Maya Hawke, Steve Carell, Matt Dillon, Hong Chow, William Dafoe, Margot Robbie, Tony Ravelli, Jake Ryan, and Jeff Goldblum. Like, what's the budget? And I feel like we've talked about this before when we've referenced Wes Anderson. Like, these guys have to be working for scale. Either that or
Yeah, I
this
think
film cost $100 to make, and the rest all went to cast wages. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, I think Edward Norton already like did a quote or something like that saying, he doesn't make, he doesn't get paid. Like he makes no money doing these kind of these films. I don't remember what the exact quote was, but yeah, he was like, it's the reason why he does all the other films.
You can retire after moments like that, right?
Not on the money we made. We were getting like SAG Weekly.
Right, just so he can do these quirky like character piece films with Wes Anderson, because he's getting paid in like catering or something like that, and
Yeah,
that's about it.
and I think this is the first one that Bill Murray has not been in since Bottle Rockets, because I think the first one is Rushmore with him, and he was supposed to be he got COVID, so he couldn't be in the film because they started shooting and he was sick. So that's like that. Yeah, like a lot of these people, Jason Schwartzman. Again, we've seen both William Dafoe and you were just talking about him, Edward Norton. Edward Norton. They've been a lot of his films and stuff too. So I think Tom Hanks must have been filling in for the Bill Murray role.
Yeah,
it feels like that was the Bill Murray role, right? So
yeah, that I was gonna do the joke like in the intro, and playing in the Bill Murray role, you have cast Tom Hanks, but I thought, oh, I guess not, but I thought there was something. Wasn't there like some scandal with Bill Murray or something like that, and that's why?
I mean, the official line is COVID. I mean, I know that Bill Murray at the time, there was like, I think some harassment allegations. I don't know if they were just normal ones or sexual ones or whatever. So it might have been kind of like a perfect storm, or a good exit stage, right? Pursued by Bear kind of thing. Like, oh, he's got COVID and it takes a bit of the heat off. Who knows? The reality is he's not in the film. I think Tom Hanks did a fine job. Again, everything's done very deadpan. And again, like it gets kind of tiresome because like it's interesting until you're bored of it. You know what I mean? Everyone's kind of delivering their lines very similar in a very similar manner. You're not really you don't actually ever get really that invested, in my opinion. I definitely did not get invested in any of the characters, so you don't really care what their story arc is. So again, this movie could have been 5 minutes long or 500 minutes long. It's going to have the same effect, except one took more time out of my time. Although it did do well at the box office. Like I said, as we were saying, it had a $25 million budget, did 54 in the theater. I'm sure they're getting some moolah on the streaming services. So, good for him. Most of the like kind of criticism, or not even criticism, like critics said, if you really like Wes Anderson, you're going to like this film. But if you're not a huge fan anymore or ever, you're probably not going to like it. And I mean, I totally agree with that statement or sentiment.
Mhm. Well, I'm gonna do a little Miss Cleo here. I'm gonna make a future prediction here. I'm gonna say Wes Anderson wins at this Academy Awards for Best Picture,
Get the
Best Film.
What the fuck are you talking
Yes,
about?
yeah, they're gonna give him the
Oh my-
shorts. They're gonna give him the shorts. Best
The
short film.
shorts.
Yeah,
It's not a
best
short film.
Yeah, but he also released at the same time on Netflix the 4 short films, like the Poison, the rat catcher, the swan, and like
Oh,
the
okay.
incredible life.
Okay. So yeah, I mean that's you need to make that clarification. You're not talking about for this film.
No, for this film, like I'm gonna say set design or production design, because it is quirky, and I love the little nuances they put like in the garage, in the service station. I don't remember what the exact thing was, but it was something like ride deadly tires or something, like death defying tires for 5 cents. It
Mm.
was like a little sign they had there. And then on when they have the Margot Robbie like cameo, all the signs on the marquees of the theaters were pretty fucking funny too.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? That'll be interesting to see come Oscar nomination time. The kind of craft awards that Wes Anderson again. I mean, I can't see him being competitive in any of the big races with Oppenheimer, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon. Those are kind of the big ones right off the top of my head that are going to be going up for Best Picture. I mean, it did get nominated for the Palme d'Or at Cannes. I mean, so there was that. One of the things that my quote this week is from Adam Graham from the Detroit News, and I think this really just sums up my whole opinion of the film. It's all very cute, but not much else, as the story remains locked inside Anderson's dollhouse and is inaccessible to all but his most ardent fans. And I'd be like, yeah, man. I mean, I think I've already said like my kind of big piece on this is that it looks very nice. It gets very boring. It's clever until it's not. You've got all these great stars, but like you're really not asking them to do much because again, they all kind of play their characters in a very similar manner. So that even the actors themselves don't have any of the range that they would normally have. Like they don't have any latitude, right? It's a very structured piece. It's very much controlled by Wes Anderson as a director. Did you watch this with like your kids or anything like that?
No, I watched it. No, this one I watched by myself. But like I don't see what you're saying, like in terms of investment, because that's the thing, right? Like you have a person who's playing these roles, but then it stops halfway and you're seeing them as the actor that's playing this role, and then you get their kind of like drama life, like background story that I think like, to me, I think some of those were like a lot more interesting, like Adrian Brody being the director of the play, and he only kind of really took it because he was getting divorced or whatever. His wife was leaving him for a baseball player, and then he's living in the background, like on set of this play. But you don't see him that much, right? He just has like the kind of like lines kind of thing that's supposed to be the motivation, right?
But even those, like I said, those characters, like so he's a perfect example. It's a very kind of narrow performance. Again, very deadpan, not a lot of like dramatic range. Even the way that like the timbre and the tone and the pacing, the way they all kind of talk like this, like
Yeah,
it's
like
very
I would be
plotting.
perfect for a Wes Anderson film.
Yeah, you could play all the fucking roles in the West Indies.
That's
Speaking of which, if
perfect.
you're only tuning in on audio, Scott's got an Asteroid City background, and that with a Star Wars shirt, it makes him look like he's on like Tatooine or something like that. So I just want to give that shout out
Well,
to that are only viewing on.
I'm trying to, hit both worlds, right? Asteroid City and the aliens. Like, come
Is there going to be an aliens showing up like Ripley?
on. You just wasted it. That was the end. That was the end piece. That was going to be the chest.
There's going to be a chest.
Now I can't do it.
Puncher.
Fuck.
So you watch this by yourself. Do you recommend
Mhm.
it? Like, what's your
No, I think you're right. Like if you like Wes Anderson, this is maybe your cup of tea, right? But that's the thing. Like I think I don't want to say for the general audience because he has a fan base, but like he is very quirky. Like it's very not like anything else. Like none of his movies are like anything else because it is kind of, I would say a lot of his films, like to me, it's like plays on camera, but it's literally like, it's not like you're watching the Hamilton on Disney Plus, right? It's like, this is a play, we're going to make it a movie, but we're still going to act like a play because, you know, we're going to move the sets behind the actors while they're in performance kind of thing. So I think, you know, you have to be prepared. And there wasn't many, like for, I think this was labeled as a comedy. There isn't many laughs in this movie at all.
Yeah, it's very like just droll again, right? Like in that almost like British, it's not even dry humor, it's just dry. And so things can be comical just because they're so like ridiculous, or I don't even want to use the word over the top, but just kind of farcical. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the only thing I kind of laughed at was the vending machine that had the real estate.
I was just gonna say that actually, and the way Steve Carell describes that, right? He's like, "Well, you
Yeah.
just do this, and then you put in the money, and you, well, how big
You
is
get the
how big is the piece? It's half the size of a tennis court. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then he's like, actually, when one guy actually does it, he goes, actually, you don't have the land. It's a 50-year lease that you're investing in, and it might be worth something after. Right. But yeah, like his performance, like Carell's performance was one of my favorites in this film. One, like his line, like, what kind of juice would you like? Apple, what was it? Apple, orange, or tomato?
Tomato. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
And then the one where they're burying the Tupperware and he's in the background and like you see that he sees what it's doing and then he takes off his hat, puts it to his heart because you know he's like he's attending a funeral like
And
in an
that's listen,
alleyway.
that's something that Wes Anderson is like known for, like just minuscule detail. Like you could play a 5 minute. That's why actually I don't think his films need to be that long. Like you should just make them shorter, and then people maybe will rewatch them and rewatch them because there's like layers upon layers, sort of like an ogre or an onion or a parfait. And the more you watch it, the more you can see all that stuff in the background. You can see how characters are in the most minute way, like interacting with what's happening in the foreground. And again, like I said, that's what Wes Anderson is really known for. I mean, the critics gave it a 75, the audience 62, which I think makes it kind of in the same realm as the new Miss Marvel's movie or Marvel's movie or whatever. So
I don't know.
I don't know if that's a
It.
good. I don't know if 60% is good enough for Mr. Anderson at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know either. Have you watched any of the shorts on Netflix at all?
I have not. I have not.
There, it's pretty much everything you're saying. There's only one that's 45 minutes, every other one's 17 minutes, but it's all like narration. One character's narrating all the scenes while you're walking through it. But
I'll have to check them out, and it'll be interesting to see if you are right if he does submit for the shorts. I do want to bring up his cinematographer Robert Yeoman. Obviously, he's not obviously so. Mr. Yeoman's done all of Wes Anderson's films from the very beginning, but I pulled out some of his other filmography. So he did Bridesmaids, he did Whip It, he did Dogma, and he did Drugstore Cowboy. So he's worked with like a lot of like funky indie director types, right? So I mean, I wouldn't consider any of those like cinematic masterpieces, but definitely all interesting films. You know what I mean?
now the thing, this whole conversation we've had, I'm super surprised you haven't started or done your usual nepotism baby.
Are
Fucking
you talking about because of the Coppolas or what?
yeah, because Roman Coppola is Francis Ford Coppola's son, and he's been writing all these.
I mean, the whole Coppola like family is just like one big nepo baby experiment, right? From
Nepo baby experiment.
seriously, like whether it's Nicolas Cage, Sophia, her brothers, Francis, obviously, and then some other minor Coppolas. I mean, the Coppolas could be the Royal Tannenbaums. You know what I mean? So
Maybe they are. Did he write the Royal Tenenbaums?
I would have to see if a
I'm
Coppola
checking
was
right now
involved in
for you.
that.
Well,
But
Roman's the one that he wrote. What did he write?
yeah.
He
Anyway.
wrote Asteroid City, French Dispatch, Isle of Dogs, Moonrise Kingdom, and the Darji Limited. No, he didn't write the Tenenbaums.
So anyway, I don't really have much more to say about this. If you like Wes Anderson, check it out. It's on streaming, so you can watch it until you don't want to watch it anymore, and then just turn it off. And that will, whatever your fill of this film is, that will be okay.
And that is our wrap for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, reach us at the www.howdyoulikethatmovie.com. To be honest, I liked your little piece there about however long you want to watch it. That's your fill, because technically there is no fucking ending to this movie.
Yeah, it's not like you're like, oh my god, if you stop watching before the last 5 minutes, the big twist happens. Like you could start this movie in the middle. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could literally watch any portion of this film for a period of time, and you'd be like, yeah, okay, that's cool, I get it, man. Production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.